Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Can you hear me? Please confirm in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you for your responses. Okay, so let's stop the chat. Okay, so what did we discussed about last session? We have discussed about uh, how to make a subnet public. By default, every subnet is private. How to make a subnet public and why to make the subnet public, because it is available to all over the world. So we should be making the subnet public. And then we also learn how can we open the security groups in the database server so that it can web servers can pull the data from the database servers. To that extent, we have learned. In today's session, I'll be introducing you the new concepts called Bastion Server. Important from the interview point of view, what is the use of the Bastion Server, and also NAT Server. These are the two important key points which I want to discuss in today's session. So let's proceed. Okay. Okay. So if you want to proceed, we also should repeat all these points, whatever we have discussed in the last session. We have deleted all the VPC, all the subnets. So I'll be recreating it now. So you need to spare 10 minutes of time. I'll be creating VPC. Inside the VPC, I'll be creating two subnets, one web subnet, one database subnet. And I want to make the web subnet public. So what I'll do, I'll enable public IP at the subnet level. I'll attach internet gateway, create internet gateway, attach internet gateway to VPC, create route table, attach the route table to subnet, attach the route table to internet gateway. This is how to make the subnet public. Let's first complete these steps. It will be a quick revision for you. Services, network and content delivery. In that we have VPC. We have some default VPC. Do not disturb of the default VPC. I'm creating a new VPC. Name of the VPC, my VPC, under the IP address. VPC got created. Next, I need to create two subnets. Where do you want to create the subnets? Inside my VPC. What is the name of the subnet? The first subnet I want to type it as WebSN. I want to create it in one availability zone. First availability zone 1A. IP address series. First subnet got created. Creating one more subnet. My VPC. Any availability zone does not make any difference in the IP address series. 2.0 series. Enable. So first subnet. I want to make the first subnet public. I want to make the first subnet public. So if you want to make this first subnet, if you want to make this first subnet public, what you need to do? First, you need to enable public IP at the subnet level. Select the subnet. Select the first subnet. Actions. Modify auto SN IP settings. Enable as auto SN public IP address. Next. Create internet gateway. Okay, this is all what we have learned in the last class. That's the reason I'm a little quick. Participants, those who missed the previous session, it will be a good revision for you. I'm creating internet gateway. My IGW is the name of the internet gateway which I want to create. Internet gateway created. Next, what you need to attach the internet gateway to the VPC. This is the internet gateway I have created. Click on actions. We have an option to attach to VPC, and which VPC you want to attach it to. My VPC, isn't it? I want to attach it to my VPC. So pictorial representation. So we have created internet gateway. Okay. As you can see in the diagram, the internet gateway is also attached to VPC. Next, the purpose of the internet gateway, friends. What is the purpose of the internet gateway? The purpose of the internet gateway is to provide internet connectivity to subnet. Which subnet you want internet connectivity? Obviously, you want to have it for the first subnet. So what I'll do, I need to attach internet gateway to subnet, but this cannot be done directly. You need to take help of one more component called, you are right, route table. Okay. So I'll create a route table. Observe one route table got created automatically when you have created a VPC. The first route table got created automatically when you created a VPC. You can use existing route table also. You can use existing route table also. So anyways, I'll be creating new route table. The name of the route table, I am writing it as internet RT. And where do you want to create the route table? Inside my VPC. Create route table. Next, select the route table what you have created. One end of the route table, you need to attach it to subnet, right? Edit subnet associations, and then associate to first subnet. So I have attached it to first subnet. One end of the route table, I attach it to one more end of the route table, I attach it to internet gateway. How to do that? Actions, edit routes, add route. Target is you want to attach it to internet gateway, isn't it? And this is the name of the internet gateway, and you should always write 0 series. Now the subnet is public. Now the subnet is public. Okay. Okay. So let's have an interaction. Yes, Munir. Can you hear me, Munir? You are allowed to unmute and talk. I can see your hand raise. Kunal.
Yeah. Hello, Sunil. Good morning.
Good morning, Kunal.
My question is, yesterday I was trying to change the size of VPC,
Mm-hmm.
but I could not be able to do so.
Okay, okay. I'll tell you how to change the size of the VPC. Okay.
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 Because remove button, I see the remove button and that button is disabled.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. I'll tell you how to remove the VPC. Okay.
Okay.
How to edit the VPC. You want to change the size of the VPC. I'll tell
Yes.
you. Next, anything more?
Yeah.
Hear about the conceptual understanding, the importance of internet gateway, the importance of route table.
Yes. Yes.
What is the importance of private subnet and what is the importance of public subnet? So in our example, Kunal, the DB instance we create it in the private subnet because the most secured instance is the DB instance. It should not be hacked. Okay, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
So that's the reason they always keep it in the private subnet. But web servers, it should be available to the public. So that's the reason we keep the web servers in the public subnet. I hope there's a conceptual difference why there's a meaning why we are creating DB instances in the private subnets and why we are creating web servers in the public instance. Okay, Kunal.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Good morning, Dev. Dev dropped your hand. Okay, fine. Mohibuddin.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Yep.
So basically, uh, I am a freelancer and I want that to my client. I want to make a WhatsApp API. I want to attach a WhatsApp API to my client project.
Okay.
So this AWS gives us privilege to add these
Yeah.
services to the
Yeah.
project.
Yeah. You need to identify the right APIs. Even I don't know the right API which helps in integrating the WhatsApp API to the client's infrastructure. Okay. But can be possible. You need
Okay,
to
like
identify that.
SMS and email kind of.
Yes. There's a special
Okay.
service.
And
Okay. Even I'm not sure about that. Okay.
yeah, and second doubt I am having is like when we are making a project, like if we want to implement the structure same as like the LinkedIn or Facebook, and from where can we study that all structure
First,
and
we should study
patterns?
the existing infrastructure. We'll ask the client to access to the existing on-premises data center. Okay. So first we visit an on-premises data center. We get the complete report. Okay, about the existing
Mhm.
infrastructure, the size of the infrastructure, how exactly security configurations they are following. Okay. So we'll be connecting to their
Mhm.
ESXi's and then monitoring their servers, how exactly the servers are there, how many servers are there, what is the hardware configuration of each server, what is the purpose behind each server, are they also using any subnets in case so we have to study the existing infrastructure. Okay,
Okay,
once we
so
study the
from where can we study that?
right from firewall configuration to start with. Okay. Okay,
Okay, so
so we
can
will
you
have
suggest any website or something like that?
mm, I'll check Mohibuddin. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
sure,
check
sure.
and I'll update you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Sai.
Hello.
Hi Sai, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sunil.
Yes.
Yeah, Sunil, in VPC, we can create any number of subnets, right?
Yes, you are right.
But how many internet gateways can we create? Only one.
Yes.
What about route tables?
Any number of route tables, no problem.
But internet gateway should be one.
Fun.
Okay, okay. Actually, I
Okay.
have got a question in this interview yesterday. So just
Mhm. What did you answer?
I told subnets will be any number of subnets in one VPC, and I told
Yes.
only one internet gateway.
Correct. Okay.
No,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on. So this is the infrastructure what we have created. So let's also complete this creating web server in the public subnet and creating a DB server in the private subnet. So we quickly do that. We will be completing till yesterday's part, and then today we'll be learning something new. So meanwhile, I'll create a security group with the name WebSG with today's date. These are important. DBSG30. It should open to the complete subnet. The MySQL port should be open to the entire subnet and then dbkp 30.12. So let's complete this part. Even this we already have seen it yesterday. So let's do it again. Once we complete this infrastructure, then we can proceed to the next step. So for creating instances, obviously we need to move to EC2. So do not worry about the existing instances. So launching a new instance. Where do you want to create the instance? Inside my VPC. In VPC, which subnet you want to create? There are two subnets. I want to create it in the first subnet. So here in step 3, we have an option of by selecting the VPC and selecting the subnet, and then it's not a normal empty machine. It should be a web server. So I have the bootstrap scripts with me, which will make the machine as a web server. I want to name the security group as WebSG30. This is web server. So I have created an EC2 machine in the public subnet. I'll be creating a DB server in the private subnet. One more EC2 machine. Inside my VPC, this time it is in second subnet. MySQL port to the entire subnet. Okay. Now web server can pull the data. So let's have pictorial representation. So we have created a instance, and the instance MySQL port. The instance MySQL port is open to the entire public subnet. Okay. So any instance, any EC2 machine present in the public subnet can pull the data from the database subnet. Fine. Okay. Now something new what we are learning in today's session. Yeah, Arvind.
Good morning, Smith.
Good morning.
I have a small doubt. Can you go for the pictorial representation below? In
Sorry.
this pictorial representation, we have given the IP address for the web subnet as 10.0.1.0, right?
IP address of the subnet.
Yeah, web subnet.
One dot zero slash 24.
Yes, that's 24. So it means that we'll be having a 256 machines, out of which 5 are
Locked.
by default used by AWS,
Yes.
right? So if
Remaining
at all,
251 is available.
yeah, they're readily to one are available. If at all we want like 500 machines
We have to
or
increase the size of the VPC.
yes, it's subnet thing.
Subnet mask size we have to increase.
But IP address, how will it assign? Like it will go to 2.0 or
So that's the reason. Look at this. As it is, because before, as I told you, before creating VPC, we study the existing infrastructure, right?
yes,
Arvind?
yes.
So we'll provide this series. Okay?
Yeah.
Got it? Understand?
Okay, yes, sir. And if
So you
at all
have,
we wanted to less number of, I mean like 50 or 60 at that time.
but still having a bigger number does not increase your bill. It's always good advice to have a bigger numbers. Okay?
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking like if it is 20 machines or something, we can't provide in this way like 1.0 because if we want to have multiple things,
Yeah.
it will
Now
not
I
be
think your
possible.
question is clear.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Dev.
Hi, sir. Sorry, last time I have some network glitch, and due to that, I couldn't able to answer you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Actually, to be frank, after me, you asked some other guy. I got answer to my question. How many subnets we can create in?
Okay. That's the same question you have.
Yeah, it's got created. But the thing is that while yesterday, I think I'm googling somewhere, I heard like 200 subnets we can create in a VPC.
Those are technical. Yeah, you are right. So those are technical restrictions, but nobody no project will have not even 50 subnets also. Okay, so
Okay,
maximum they will have 6 to 7. That's it. Okay,
okay,
there's
sir.
no need for those many number of subnets. Okay, yeah. Next.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, sir. Yeah, that's
Okay,
absolutely.
Srikant J.
Hello.
How are you, Srikant?
Yes, I'm fine, sir. How are you, sir?
I am fine. How is your learning experience with respect to AWS?
Yes, sir. It's good, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
My
Arvind.
doubt is, I'm connecting Putty. Is
Mhm.
it disconnecting in middle, sir? Why it is?
Yeah. Your internet connection should be stable. I think you're using a hotspot. Am I right?
Yes,
Mobile
yes, sir.
hotspot.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Don't use mobile hotspot. Please use a broadband connection. Okay.
If there is any settings in that, I thought the
No,
lines.
no, no, no. The network should be stable when you're connecting to AWS cloud.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, one more question, sir.
Yeah.
In we are using internet. Sorry. Uh, this port we are using 24 like 24 28 32 like we are using that's
Yeah.
few companies are using private and few companies are using private public NASA
Few companies are using
government the government sites using a private NASA
private what? Subnets.
subnet sir
Wherever
subnet
secure.
mask subnet mask
Hmm. This
uh,
is private only. This IP address is private only.
okay
Okay.
okay okay
Did you understand? This is not a public IP. These IP addresses are private only. Okay. Srikant?
okay okay
Okay. You cannot control the public IPs. These are all private IP addresses. Okay. Next. Okay. Now, this question is asked by one of the participants in the previous session. So let's look at the behavior of the EC2 machine present in the public subnet. That's nothing but a web server, right? So let's go to EC2 machines. We have created one web server. Where is the other one? Yeah, DB server. So web server, obviously it will take the private IP. Look at this. It takes the series what you have mentioned, 110.0.1. Some number it will take it. Okay, that's observation. And then obviously if you look at the DB server, if you look at the DB server, it takes 2 dot series. And interesting thing, it does not have public IP. Two machines can be connected only when they are connected to internet. They are not having internet access. The instances which you create inside the private IP is neither having an internet access. So it is not possible to connect it. 100% nobody can connect. Only connection happens through the web server using the MySQL port. So that's how with highest security you have created the infrastructure. So like this, when the clients, remember friends, when a client moves their infrastructure from on premises to cloud, the highest concerns the client have is security. The highest concerns the client has is security. Is my infrastructure secure? Is my data secure? There is no compromise on the security. AWS provides you, wherever possible, AWS provides you additional layers of security to protect the client's infrastructure. So I hope you understood. VPC is one more layer as an additional partition, so that you can create your own infrastructure on your partition and then making the subnet private. These are all good, good proper uh, way to organize the client's infrastructure. Now, I said this is an Oracle database. Let's say this is a DB instance. DB instance can be Oracle or SQL Server or MySQL. Okay. So, do you know there'll be some resources called database administrators? Hmm? Do you know there will be resources called database administrator? The responsibility of the database administrators is to monitor the instances. Okay. Sometimes they want to connect to the DB instance and then perform some more performance tuning activities, wants to apply some patches, wants to run some scripts. So DBA wants to connect to the instance and do some maintenance activity. The infrastructure which you have created is 100% secure. Even DBA cannot connect. How can two machines can connect? Only when there is an internet connectivity. There is no internet connect. How DBA can connect? So DBA is now in a position to not even connect to the instance and do some maintenance activity. Okay. So in the interview, they'll ask you, how do you provide access to the DBAs who wants to connect to instance access? Okay. How can we do that? Yes. Look at this. Look at this. DBA wants to create some files. DBA wants to perform some maintenance activity. Can a DBA connect? The DB server is not having public IP. We already have experienced it, isn't it? We already have experienced it. DB server is not having public IP. It's not even having internet connectivity. A DBA cannot connect. Now, what as an AWS infrastructure, as a AWS team, how do you provide solution to the database administrator if he wants to connect? For this, we need to create a Bastion server. For this, we need to create a Bastion server. Bastion server is also referred as jump server. In the public subnet, we need to create it. So we need to create a one more server. I'm naming it as B, stands for Bastion server. And where I'm creating the Bastion server? In the public subnet. Look at the diagram. I'm creating the Bastion server in the public subnet. Okay. Bastion server is nothing special. It is nothing but a normal EC2 machine. Don't think it's a new component or something like that. It's a normal EC2 machine only. We name it as Bastion server. The Bastion servers are nothing but EC2 machines, which will help the DBS to connect to the instances which is available in the private subnet. Okay. So let's create a Bastion server. So Bastion server, how DBS will connect? Actually, DBS connects using PuTTY. So PuTTY means SSH port. So what I'll do when I'm creating the Bastion server SSH port The Bastion server SSH port I will open to DBA. So DBA can connect it to the Bastion server using SSH port. So Bastion server SSH port should be open to the DBA. Okay. So the security group I'm writing it as Bastion SG30 and 30. I'm opening SSH port. Okay. So let's complete this Bastion server part. Let's complete this Bastion server creation. Amazon Linux. Where I want to create it inside my VPC, inside web subnet. That's nothing but public subnet. Next. Security group. I won't name the security group as Bastion SG with today's date. Okay. And then SSH port I should open to DBA so that DBA can connect. Assume I'm a DBA. Assume that I'm a DBA. So SSH port I'm opening to my IP. Okay, automatical IP address is configured 183.183.83. So that's my IP address. Okay. See 183.83.140. The same number. Okay. /32 is nothing but subnet mask. So maximum number is 32. I have provided 32. 32 minus 32 is 0. 2 to the power of 0 is 1. To that only one machine. Only Bastion server can connect in only from this particular machine. Okay. So review and launch. Click on launch. Create a new key pair. I'm naming it as Bastion 30. So obviously your question can be, I expect your question. I can expect your question. Give me time to answer. So we have created one more machine. So we have created a Bastion server. And who can connect, as I have mentioned, as my IP, only I can connect to Bastion server. Obviously, your question can be, Sunil, how can, if it is my IP, okay, AWS is automatically capturing my IP. So how can we provide DBS IP address? So your answer is network team, when your network team will provide you the DBS IP address. Okay, so DBA, the network team can assign a particular IP to the DBA machine and then they provide the IP address of the DBA. So that IP address we need to hard code it. Got it? I hope I have answered it. So the bastions are now only in the who only one IP address, only from one machine, the Bastion server can DBS can connect to Bastion server. But the DBS requirement is to connect to DB server, not the Bastion server. So first, what the DBA do? DBA will connect to Bastion server. From the Bastion server, he'll jump to the DB server. So only as I've mentioned as my IP, only I can connect to Bastion server through SSH. From the Bastion server, I should able to jump to DB server. That means the DB server SSH port should be open to Bastion server. Agree or not? DB server. Right now in DB server, we opened MySQL port. So what I'm doing now, I'll be opening SSH port, and that SSH port I'll open to Bastion server. Agree or not? Okay, so SSH port I need to open so that Bastion can connect to the DB server. So go to DB server security group, DBSG30 is a security group. DBSG30 is a security group. Right now MySQL port is open, add rule. I am opening SSH port to the private IP address of the Bastion server. So first take the private IP address of the Bastion server. One minute. Let's take the private IP address of the Bastion server. So let's open the security group. DBSG30. Add rule. SSH port. What's the private address? Did they capture it? Yeah. I mentioned it as custom, and here /32. I hope you have understood the importance of /32. (32 minus 32 is 0, 2 to the power of 0 is 1. Only to this particular IP address SSH port will be opened from the Bastion server, from the DB server. Save rules. Okay. So SSH port is open to Bastion server. Bastion SSH port is open to DBA. Okay. Now let's test how can DBA connect. Let's experience it. So first DBA will connect to Bastion server. So first DBA will connect to Bastion server. So Bastion server PEM file, let's convert it to PPK file. Bastion 30 PEM file, I will to convert it to PPK file. So for that we use puttigen. Look at the extension should be PPK file. Yes, I've converted PEM to PPK file. Okay, so now I open putty. DBA first connects to Bastion server. So assume I'm DBA. So go to Bastion server. Click on connect. User at the name IP address. Connected. Connected. 10.0.1.51. Okay. 10.0.1.51. So we have connected to Bastion server. In a sense, DBA has connected to Bastion server, but his target is not to connect to Bastion server. From the Bastion server, he should jump to DB server. Okay. Now look at this. Try to understand. From the Bastion server, we need to jump to DB server. To connect to DB server, okay, so select the DB server, EC2 machine. Try to understand this part. Click on connect. Okay, I'm copying the SSH command. Using this SSH command, if you try to connect, when this command gets successfully connected, only when the PEM file is available in the Bastion server. Right now, where are we pointing to? We are pointing to Bastion server. From the Bastion server, you are trying to connect to the DB server. That is possible only when you have the key pair, right? How are you able to successfully connect? Only when you have a key pair. Key pair should be available. Where the key pair should be available? Key pair should be available in the Bastion server. Because from the Bastion server, you're connecting to DB server. Key pair should be available from the system from which you are connecting. If you're connecting from your laptop, the key pair should be available in your laptop. If you're connecting from your desktop, the key pair should be available in desktop. I am connecting to this EC2 machine not from my laptop. I am connecting to this DB server from the Bastion server. That means Bastion server should have key pair. Do you think Bastion server is having key pair? No, Bastion server is not having key pair. My key pair is available in my laptop. In desktop Sunil folder, the what is the key pair name? I think dbkp30.pem. The PPR is available in my laptop, but it should be available in the Bastion server. From whenever you're connecting to a machine, so here we are connecting to DB server from the Bastion server. The Bastion server should have key pair, but Bastion server is not having key pair. Bastion server, my key pair is available in my desktop Sunil folder. So what I need to do, I need to move the key pair to the Bastion server. I want to move this key pair. Which key pair? I hope you understand. dbkp30.pem. That key pair I want to move to the Bastion server. I want to move a file from my Windows environment to the Bastion server. Bastion server is Linux environment. Whenever you want to move file from Windows to Linux, we use WinSCP. We have a tool called as WinSCP. WinSCP is a tool. Windows Secure Copy is a tool which helps you to copy files from Windows to Linux. This will help you to copy the files from Windows to Linux. Look at this. To connect, PEM file needs to be present in the working directory. We need to copy the PEM file into the Bastion server. So this is available in a Windows machine. So look at this. WinSCP is a tool which helps you to transfer the files from Windows to Linux. So if you're not having WinSCP, so go to Google, search for WinSCP. So take the official site and download WinSCP. It's a small software and then install it. That's it. I already have downloaded it. The WinSCP is already available in my laptop. So what this WinSCP will do, WinSCP will help you to transfer the files. Now you want to transfer to which file? I want to transfer to Bastion server. I want to transfer the file to the Bastion server. So first connect to Bastion server. First connect to Bastion server. So select the Bastion server. Username at the DNS. Under advanced. Under authentication. Mention the private key. There is the Bastion private key. Private key is nothing but the PPK file. Bastion 30 PPK file. I have connected. I have connected to Bastion server. Can you see here? I have connected to Bastion server. This left side is nothing but personal laptop, right side is nothing but Bastion server. Right in the Bastion server, I'm connected to /home slash EC2 and hyphen user. I'm connected to Bastion server. Okay. And I move the file. Which file in my desktop Sunil folder? What is the name of the file you want? dbkp30, isn't it? This one. Just drag and drop. The file has been moved to Bastion server. If you want, you can see the file also here. ls. Now the file has been moved. Okay, so I have moved a file. Which file? This particular file, literally. Now this file is now available in the Bastion server. You can see here, right? It's available. As now the file is available, I want to switch to root user. Yes. And then from the root user will have highest privileges. I want to DBA wants to now jump to the DB server. So for that, take the SSH command of the DB server. We already have the SSH command. I'll connect again. You are now connected to DB server. Click on connect SSH command. Okay, paste the SSH command. Now SSH command uses dbkp30. That file is already available. Okay, right now you're pointing to 1.series. Now when you run this command, are you sure you want to connect? Now you're getting 2.105. You're connected to 2.series. 2.series refers to private subnet. 2.105 is nothing but 2.105 is nothing but the DB instance. So like this, the DBA solution, the DBA, what he needs to do is direct he cannot connect to the DB instance because there will be security issues. So DBA needs to connect to Bastion server. From the via Bastion server, they'll be connecting to DB servers. This is a solution we need to provide to the database administrators. Okay, so in the interview they ask you, how do you provide access to the database administrators? So this is the process. Next. Now let's say he wants to do some installation process. Let's say he wants to install some softwares in that particular DB instance. So he's running this command yum install. Can he install some packages in the DB instance? Tell me. No, he's unable to do that. He's unable to do that because he's not having internet access. Yes, you are right. It is not successful. DBA has connected, but DBA is not having internet. Without internet, how can DBA can download the required packages, and how can he apply the patches? Sometimes he wants to have internet connectivity. He needs to download some software, which is not possible. So we cannot. So it's not successful. Even if you try from the root user also. Let's say DBA is moving to the root user. From the root user, he is trying to install some packages on the database instance, but still it fails. See, it stopped. No, it's not. It definitely fails because it is not having internet connectivity, because the entire private subnet is not having internet access. So what is the solution? What is the solution? DBA needs the internet access. So the solution is, to get the internet, we use one more component called NAT Server. NAT Server stands for Network Address Translator. We need to create NAT. One more component we need to create that. The purpose of the NAT is to provide internet connectivity to the private subnet, and we need to create NAT in the public subnet. Again, we need to create one more component. Bastion is one new component what we have created. Now we are creating one more component called NAT. The purpose of the NAT is to provide internet connectivity to the entire private subnet. Okay, so obviously private subnet needs to have internet connectivity because DVA demands that. So what we'll do, let's create NAT in the public subnet. How to create NAT? See, it's not working, failed, because it's not no internet connectivity. So what I'll do, go to the one more component. This is a VPC I have created. Now what I'm creating one more component of NAT. Can you see here we have NAT gateway? Yes, create NAT gateway. Right now there are no NAT. So go to NAT, create a NAT gateway. Where you want to create the NAT gateway? Tell me where we create NAT gateway in the public subnet only. Okay. So create NAT. Name of the NAT is myNAT. In which subnet you want to create it in the public subnet. Be careful. And then very important, we need to allocate elastic IP to NAT. You need to allocate elastic IP to NAT. Very important. Elastic IP is been allocated. Elastic IP in our day-to-day words, it is called a static IP. So we need to allocate elastic IP is called the static IP to the NAT and create NAT. Okay. So NAT got created. Where can you see the NAT which you have created? So go to the NAT dashboard. This is the NAT which you have just now created, still pending. It will take 2 minutes for the NAT to get created. Okay, so let's learn more about NAT. First point, we have created NAT, good, and we have allocated elastic IP. Now your question could be, why should we allocate elastic IP? Look at this. Elastic IP is something similar to static IP, not public IP. It is something similar to static IP. Look at this. What is static IP? Let's try to understand. When we stop and start the EC2 machines, regularly we right from day one we are learning EC2 machines, right? When you stop and start the EC2 machines, the public IP address may change. The public IP address you may get the same. When you start the EC2 machine, the public IP address may change. If you stop and start the machine, if you want the same public IP, you don't want the public IPs to change. In that case, we create elastic IP. Elastic IP is nothing but static IP in our day-to-day words. So next point is, why do we need elastic IP to NAT? Loosen this. If NAT is down, what is the purpose of NAT? Tell me. What is the purpose of the NAT? The purpose of the NAT is to provide internet connectivity to entire private subnet. The purpose of the NAT is to provide internet connectivity to the entire private subnet. If NAT is down, the entire private subnet will not get internet connectivity. Isn't it? If NAT is down, the entire private subnet will not get internet access. In case if NAT is down, the entire private subnet will not get internet. In such case, what we need to do, we restart the NAT. When the NAT is down, what we'll do, we restart the NAT. When we restart the NAT, there is a chances that NAT may acquire a new IP address. NAT will acquire new IP address. When NAT will acquire new IP addresses, there will be connection issues at the private subnet. Okay, the purpose of the NAT is to provide internet connectivity to private subnet. When NAT acquires new IP address, there will be connection issues. When we restart the NAT, then it occurs a new IP. When NAT acquires new IP, there will be connection issues. So that's the reason we use elastic IP to NAT, so that when you restart the NAT, it will acquire the same IP address. IP address will not change, so that it will not have any connection issues. I hope you have clear. I hope I'm very clear. Why do we assign a elastic IP to NAT? NAT is a closed box. It does not have any ports concept. There's no concept of a ports, you opening the ports or something like that. And nobody can connect to NAT. There's no concept of connecting to NAT. It's a predefined software. There is no concept of connecting to NAT. There's no concept of opening the ports. There's no concept of nothing, security group, nothing. It's just a component. Okay. Next, what is the purpose of the NAT? The purpose of the NAT is to provide internet connectivity to private subnet. So you need to connect the NAT to the private subnet. Okay. Internet gateway we have connected to public subnet. So internet gateway cannot be directly connected. We have take help of a route table. Similarly, NAT also cannot be connected to subnets directly. You need to take help of a yes, you are right. Again, as usual, same route table. Okay. So if you want to connect NAT to the NAT, your NAT purpose is to provide internet connectivity to private subnet, but direct connectivity is not possible. You need to take help of the route table. So we cannot connect NAT to the private subnet. So we need to create a route table. One end of the route table I connected to NAT. One end of the route table I connected to NAT. One more end of the route table I connect to private subnet. So instead of creating new route table, we'll be using some default route table that got created when we have created new VPC. I hope you're practicing. So when you practice, this will be very, very clear. When we have created a new VPC, there was a route table that got created automatically. So I'll not create a new route table. I'll be using existing route table. So go to VPC dashboard. There's a concept of route table. One route table got created automatically when you have created a VPC. This one, the first one. Have you observed? One route table got created when you have created a VPC. So I'll be using that particular route table. Okay. Instead of creating new route table, I'm using an existing route table. As I'm connecting to NAT gateway, so I'm writing it as NAT RT, NAT route table as I'm connecting to NAT gateway. Next, first what we need to do, one end of the route table, I'll attach it to private subnet. So select the route table, actions, edit subnet associations. I am attaching to private subnet. Okay, next. So this part is done. This is done. One more end of the route table and attach it to NAT. Next, how to attach it to NAT. So select the route table, actions, edit route, add route. Target is NAT, my NAT, and it should be always 0 series whenever you are taking the net internet. Save changes. So connectivity is done. So let's go to NAT gateway. Is NAT created? Yeah, NAT is created and elastic IP is assigned to the NAT. Okay. Now let's test the same command. Previously it was failing. Now I have connected to DB server. Previously the same command is failing. Please observe what happening. 3.7 KB, 2.6 downloading. 76 KB files are getting downloaded. Look at this. 8.8 files are getting downloaded from where? Using the internet. Now the beauty is the EC2 machine created in the private subnet. That's nothing but the database servers are getting private IP addresses. So are getting is now getting internet connectivity. Okay, now they are having internet connectivity. DBS is very happy because the DB instance are having internet access. Okay, and DBS can also connect to the DBS servers. This is the turnaround solution. But the most important point is go to the EC2 machine which you have created in the private subnet. That's nothing but the database server. This is the DB server which I have created in the private subnet, right? Now you are getting internet access, but the beauty is without public IP. Generally, public IP, you get it automatically when you get the internet access. But here, the beauty is the instance is having internet connectivity, but it is not having public IP, highly secure. Hackers can connect only through IP addresses. There's no IP address here. highly secure. So your infrastructure should be highly secure, and this is the process which you need to follow. This is a solution you need to follow as an AWS engineer for the DBS to connect to the database instances, and then to make sure that the private address is highly secure, but at the same time you have to provide internet connectivity. So that's the reason we need to use the NAT concept. So these are all very, very important. Okay, deletion process is very important. First delete NAT. NAT is an expensive component. Delete NAT. Delete EC2 machines. We have created DB server, web server, Bastion server. Deletion process is also important. Let's wait. Is the NAT getting deleted? Deleted. NAT is deleted. NAT is deleted. EC2 machines deleted. Delete VPC. When you delete VPC, I hope you know all the subnets. Okay, route tables, internet gateway, everything will be deleted. Release elastic IP, very, very important. Don't think that elastic IP we have assigned to NAT. Don't think that when you delete the NAT, elastic IP will also be deleted. No, you need to release it manually. So go to elastic IPs. We have allocated an elastic IP. That elastic IP will be available here. And then actions, there's an option called release elastic IP address. Releasing is nothing but deleting. Perfect. Okay. So this is the deletion process. So you now know about Bastion server. You now know about the NAT gateway. Okay. Gautam Reddy.
Hey, Sunil. Okay, so this is very helpful. So my
Yeah.
question is that it's not only one DBA, right? There could be multiple
Yeah,
DBA.
we can do that. We can add one more rule.
Mhm.
So go to security group. Let's say there are 3 to 4 DBAs. I think the security group got deleted. Okay, so I'm randomly picking up one security group. Gautam, what we have done, we have added rule. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we are selecting SSH port. Okay. We have
Yeah.
hard coded one IP address. Okay. If you have second DBA, again add one more rule. Again SSH, second DB IP address. Okay.
Okay. Got it.
Like
So
this.
can we
Okay.
do something like VPN concept if they are into
Yeah. So you need to take help that the VPN provider and get the details, and you can connect it to open it to that particular VPN.
so
So
if
that
we open for VPN, then
VPN, all the machines connected to that VPN will have access to the instance. Okay, that's the
okay,
best thing.
that is so.
That
Thank
can
you.
also be done, or if you have individual IP addresses also, that can also be added using individual roles. Anything is possible, Gautam. Okay, clear.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
So how is the
Yeah,
session
also I
clear?
have it is very clear. Also, I have one more question. This is general.
Mhm.
So when we see any website address, right?
Mm.
It is not in IP number. So
It is a domain name, so
yeah.
www.flipkart.com or something
So
like
how
that.
can
So
we configure that?
Route 53 service, you can configure
Okay.
that. So you have to wait. After VPC, we'll discuss about Route 53.
Okay. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Gautam. Guru Prasad.
Sir, actually, we are using IPv4 instead of IPv6. Why can't we use IPv6?
You can also use
private
VPv6
and
also.
public.
Yeah, you can also use that. Okay. So I'm showing you with IPv4. You can use IPv6 also. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Concept does not make any difference whether it is version 4 or version 6. Okay. Aditya Thakur.
Yeah, hi Sunil.
Yeah, Aditya, how are you?
Good morning. Sunil, is there any other way to transfer files instead of except?
There are many tools. We have used WinSCP. There are many tools to transfer the files from Windows to Linux machines. Okay.
Okay. And one thing, if suppose we have only one subnet in our VPC, that is our DB subnet. Okay. It is already private by default.
The moment you have a DB subnet, that is a private subnet, you also have corresponding public subnet, definitely. Okay.
Oh, okay.
100%.
So
Okay.
at present, we should have at least two.
Minimum for application to run, we should have one database server, database subnet, one web subnet. Okay. Definitely you'll have two.
We can't do like this. One EC2 instance we created as a in our VPC, we create one EC2 instance only as a web server and one subnet, which is as a DB server.
Then there will be security problems. Okay. What happens? The problem we'll discuss tomorrow when we learn about NACL. So this approach is always a highly secured approach. So there's one more component we need to discuss about NACL that anyways we'll see it in the coming class. Then you'll understand, Aditya. Okay. The advantage what you get when you follow this two subnets. Okay. Okay. So as we all know, no sessions on Saturday, Sunday. The continuation of this session will be on Monday's class. The continuation of this session will be on Monday's class, where we have not completed VPC. There need to be discussed about one more component called NACL, Network Access Control List. So we have to discuss this. What is NACL? What is the importance of NACL? Which is very, very important. So that will be planned for our Monday session. So please use this weekend time to practice whatever we have learned in AWS. Okay. Thank you and have a nice weekend. Thank you very much.